Hello everybody, this is Jack from Jack's Photography. Just a quick little YouTube video to talk about the latest Nikon cameras that were just announced earlier today at CES 2016. There are two new bodies, a full frame body and a DX body, or a crop sensor body. The full frame body is the Nikon D5 and the crop sensor one is the Nikon D500. Now, the exciting part about this is Nikon hasn't had a flagship crop sensor or DX sensor camera since the D300, which is one of the ones I personally own. Fantastic camera, loved it. Nikon really seems like lately they've been concentrating on their full frame line, with the D800, D810, and the D4, D4S, and now the D5. So let's talk about these. Let's talk about the D5 first. This is the full frame flagship camera. It has 20 megapixel sensor, new processor of the Exceed 5. The interesting thing is the ISO range on this is 100 to 102,000, which is really high ISO. Now you can go in the expanded modes, and they're stating that they can expand it to 3 million ISO, which is very interesting. That's a very high ISO. I don't know, shooting in pitch black, I'm not sure. I'm sure the grain value or pixelation is going to be super huge at 3 million. It'd be interesting to test that out. Again, you could shoot in RAW, large RAW, which is 14-bit. They also have a 12-bit lossless compressed. And you can also do RAW, TIFF, JPEG, which is interesting. Let's see what else they have. 180K pixel RGB sensor, face detection. Let me see here. Okay, so frames per second. Looks like you're gonna be able to do 12 frames per second, and then 14 frames per second with fixed focus and exposure and mirror up. It's interesting. The buffer capacity on the D5 is up to 200 shots. This is when using the XQD memory card, and then lossless 12-bit or JPEG or 14-bit lossless compressed. It's interesting. I'm reading this because, like I said, it was just announced. There's no way I'm going to be able to memorize all this information before I put this video out. The other interesting information is, let me see here. They have 3D tracking, face detection. See what else. I know they're going to have video on this. The viewfinder frame coverage is 100%, which is fantastic. The touch screen, the back screen on the back of it is a touch screen, which is great. This is what we wanted for a long time. At least that's what I wanted for a really long time. Go through the other page. It does have auto flash ISO sensitivity control. And you can shoot in 4K with this. Looks like the resolution 4K is 3840 by 2160. And you can shoot that with 30 frames, 25 frames, or 24 frames. You could do full HD 1920 by 1080, and that has a little bit more range of frames per second, which you could do 60, 50, 30, 25, or 24 frames per second. Excuse me while my printer started to make some noises over there. So you could record this in camera to a memory card. You could do that for both 1080p and 4K video, which is fantastic. And it also will support simultaneous recording to internal memory card and an external recorder like an Atomos. Let me see here. And that's about it new on this. Now the memory card, they have two models available. One model that will give you, the memory card is XQD. So you have two slots that are XQD. And the other model is two slots that are CF. Now, for someone like me, I've invested a ton of money into CF cards. Now, the memory cards have become cheaper, but I would just get the model with the two CF cards. If I didn't have a lot invested, I might try the XQD, which is supposed to be super fast for transfer rates. I think they're pretty expensive as well. I haven't really priced them out since I don't have a camera that can take it. Currently, I'm shooting with the D810 and the D800. 800 is my backup, and those take one compact flash and then one SD. So it's kind of nice that they'll have a camera or 2 compact flash cards for it. So, and then approximately in the battery life should be able to take 3,780 shots, which is fantastic. And it looks like that you could do wireless communication with it via a wireless adapter, which is the WT6A, or it looks like that it has a wired LAN option, which would do 1000 base T, which is fantastic. I don't know if they have that just built. I don't think they have a picture of this at all in the documentation that I have, which I just pulled off their website. So let's talk about the D500. Now, like I said, they haven't had a flagship FX or DX camera since the D300. That's, at least in my opinion, the D300 matched right with the D3, D3S. When the D4 came out, D4S came out, there was no announcement for a D400 like a lot of us wanted. But now with the D5, they have the D500. And that is going to have a 20.9 megapixel sensor using the Xpeed 5 image processor, very similar to the D5. Let me see here. Looks like it's going to have a multicam 20K autofocus sensor with 153 AF points. ISO range is going to be 100 to 51,000. And it looks like you can expand that to 1.6 million. Again, which is interesting. It's super high. Again, I don't know if they're planning on shooting in pitch dark or what the grain value is going to look like on that. Let me see. It does have built-in Wi-Fi, which is really cool. And it does also shoot 4K video. And this is going to have a dual card slot of the XQD and an SD card, which is interesting that they didn't put a CF card option in there. So for your 4K shooting modes, you have 30 frames a second, 25 frames, 24 frames. The full HD, which is 1920 by 180, 1080. You could do 60 frames, 50 frames, 35 frames, 25, and 24. Let me see here. The nice thing about their DX cameras, they also can take an FX lens, a full frame lens. You just have the crop factor of 1.5, so multiply by 1.5. So a 50 millimeter lens is more like an 80 millimeter lens. Going through it real quick. Your fastest shutter is 1/8,000th of a second. Slowest is 30 seconds. You will have a bulb mode. Top shooting is 10 frames per second, which is fantastic. Just going through it again real quick. Sorry about this. It does take a different battery than the D5. It takes the EL15 lithium battery, which is interesting. Be nice if they ever, match those two up. So I think that's about the highlights for that. So, like I said, this is excellent news for Nikon. I'm assuming that the D5 is going to go for about $6,000, since that's about what the D4S goes for. The D500, I have no idea. Where it looks like from their website, they're saying the starting price is at about $2,000, $1,999. Which is pretty reasonable. I think I got my D300 for $1,700. Well, maybe it was like $1,300. But anyways, it's exciting to see both these cameras. I would love to get both of them in my hands, test them out, and give a demo and a review of these cameras. And I don't think I'm going to be in the market for buying them, but I might rent them and then do my review off of my rental. Obviously, I won't be able to do an unboxing because it'll be a rental, but we'll see what options they have out there. So stay tuned for more videos. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. That'd be fantastic. And more videos to come, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.